All right, all right, all right. Welcome to Tommy Knows Best Sports Podcast. Today, I'm going to talk about the Stanley Cup, going to talk about the NBA Finals, the Red Sox, and Patriots. We're going to start off with the Stanley Cup. Vegas won last night 9-3, their first ever Stanley Cup, and for the first time, head coach Bruce Cassidy won his first ever Stanley Cup with his Vegas Knights. And how about that? Huh? How about that? If you're a Bruins fan, you should be happy. But at the same time, if you're a hardcore Bruins fan, you should be soft and you should be a baby. This guy deserved the Stanley Cup this year. He deserved to win it. You know why? Because the Bruins did him dirty. They did. They did him dirty. He got fired for no reason. Why? Because he was too tough on the younger players, and the younger players didn't like him, like Jake DeBrusk, Trent Frederick, Brandon Carlo, and then Krejci didn't play for a year because he didn't like him, and Bergeron forced retirement if they didn't make any changes, and they made changes. They fired him, and they fired him a few weeks back on a date. And today on this date, he got the head coaching job for Vegas last year at this time on this date. How about that? A Bruins former head coach won his first Stanley Cup. And I'm happy for Cassidy. He deserved it, like I said. And if they still had him, I think the Bruins would have been in the Stanley Cup. And they could have won. Look, they had a perfect season. But the only thing they didn't do was win the cup. They choked. They choked. They were up 3-2 in Game 5. How the hell do you choke? How the hell do you choke to an 8-seed Florida Panthers? The Bruins should be ashamed of themselves. Ashamed of themselves. They should be very, very ashamed. What was wrong with them this year? What was wrong with them? You know what? You can't blame management. You can blame the players. You blame the players. The players should have showed up. The players should have finished off what they had to do. Their job was to win the cup. The Bruins GM Don Sweeney, Neely, they went all in on them. They went all in. They brought Tyler Bertuzzi here at the trade deadline. They got Orlov. They got Hathaway. They got tough and physicalness. They had two monster-headed goaltenders. They did. They had two monster goaltenders. Drop into some comments. I'll answer this. This is pathetic. You let the wrong guy go. And this could be like another Tom Brady thing again, all over again. I hate to say that. They did another person from Boston dirty. They did Bruce Cassidy dirty. They did. They did him dirty last year because none of the younger players did not like him. Jake DeBrusk, Trent Frederick, Brandon Carlos. Well, you know, in this league, you need to have a tough coach to coach these players to get you there. And I like Cassidy. And everyone should be mad at the Bruins. Should be mad at him. They brought in this coach, Jim Montgomery. And look what happened. Yes, they had a perfect season, but they did not win the important one. The Stanley Cup. Lord Stanley Cup. Vegas won it. Bruce Cassidy won it. Everyone that's a Bruins fan like me that still likes him should be happy for him, and I'm happy for him. He deserved it after what the Bruins did to him last year. Fired him. And he got the head coaching job on this date last year. I'm happy for him. He deserved it. He deserved the Stanley Cup. Lord Stanley Cup. Next, I'm going to jump into my next topic. And boy, if you're a Celtics fan, maybe you should be mad too. Because look who won the NBA Finals. The Denver Nuggets. Nikola Jokic won his first NBA Finals. And I'm happy for him. I'm happy for Denver. Well-deserved team. Well-coached. And they deserve that title. Miami Heat, they only won that one game. And then after that, Miami went down the tubes. They sucked, and they went back to the Miami Heat that they were in the regular season. And the Celtics should be ashamed of themselves for not beating this Miami Heat team in Game 7. In Game 7, one of the important games of the Celtics' careers at home. No show because Jason Tatum sprained his ankle. Because he sprained his ankle and the team was scared and they didn't want to show up. And look, Miami went to the NBA Finals and basically they got the gentleman's sweep. And I'm happy, like I said, for Denver, well-coached team. Joker and Murray, awesome players, very well coached. Now what do you think the Celtics should do during the offseason this year? What's going to happen? Because Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, max contracts this year. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? Drop into some comments. I'll answer. We gotta see what they gotta do in the offseason. Just like the Bruins. Them and the Bruins got a lot of work to do in the offseason. What do you do if you're the Celtics? Drop into some comments. I'll answer. Next, gonna jump in my next topic, and it's about the Red Sox. And Monday night, I was at the game, and I want to make a shout out on my podcast for this hat that I got. I like this hat. I bought it. And I also want to make a shout out for taking my boy Nate to the game. Nate's one of my friends that watches the podcast, loves the podcast, loves to hear me on Felger and Maz, and loves to hear me on my podcast. When we hang out, he likes to hear my sports takes and my sports opinions on the teams. And yes, I took him to the game, and we had a fun time. But anyways, top that off. The fun time was fun, but even though the Red Sox were bad that night, Kiki Hernandez was horrible at shortstop. Horrible. Couldn't make a catch. And this team does not have a good roster. They have no shortstop. No first baseman. And no pitching. They should be ashamed of themselves right now. This Red Sox team, should be ashamed of themselves. I don't know what's going on with them. Are they ignoring Cora? And Chaim Bloom's taking fully control. Look what he's doing to this team. Look what he did to this roster. And Cora, in interviews and articles, he's not too happy. He's been calling the team out. Says, look what we're doing. We're making too many errors. And they are. They're making a lot of errors. They're making all these errors. That's costing them games. And they're playing against a bad team. If they get swept, that's bad on them. Bad on them. Bad on the Red Sox. And what are you going to do if you're the Red Sox? Do you sell? No. You don't sell. You know what you do? You got to invest. But this team is too cheap. This team is too cheap to pay any superstar. They had to pay one because they let the other one walk away. And look what they're doing to their roster. Look what they're doing to their roster. Pathetic. Pathetic. Drop into some comments. I'll answer. Right now, the Red Sox got to straighten their act out. And what do you do? What do you do? But anyways, I'm going to finish this podcast off with the Patriots, with OTAs. Again, another good week of OTAs, but they did not have OTAs today. I forget what they were doing, but today they were also hosting Hopkins. He came in here for a visit. I want to know how that went out. And if I hear any news, I'll let you guys know, and I'll break it to you guys on my podcast page. But anyways, you guys have a wonderful day. I'll see you with another podcast this week. Tommy knows best. And also, I'm going to the Red Sox game on Friday night when they play the Yankees. Yes, Yankees vs. Red Sox rivalry. Tommy knows best sports podcast will be in the building behind the Red Sox dugout. Hopefully I bring the team good luck. They need it. They need a win tonight, and they need to win against the Yankees this weekend like they did this past weekend. Took 2 out of 3. And that was a good win again for them. And they just got to beat this Rockies team. They got to. They got to. They got to. But anyways, I'll end this podcast. You guys have a wonderful day. Bye.